Well, here we are at my first YouTube video, and I'm not sure how to feel about it because fucking Matthew McConaughey's on YouTube, Alexandra Daddario, whatever, is posting thirst traps. What is my place on this platform? With Matthew McConaughey talking about Texas, Alexandra Daddario fucking just giving us thirst traps. What am I meant to do here? I'll tell you. I'm here to talk about anime titties, video games, other things that are constantly on my mind. But I should tell you guys why I've started this YouTube channel, and there are two main reasons. Mostly, I just want to talk about shit that interests me with fellow weebs, or it's not necessarily weeb stuff, just stuff that interests me with people who share that common interest. And the second reason being that for too long now, I've just been on fucking just that grind, that school and work grind of like, I'm either at school, I'm at work, or I'm getting ready for either one of those two. And I haven't had that sort of creative aspect to my life that I did, say, a year ago when I was into music and thought that's what I was going to do with my life. And I think that YouTube eventually, further down the line, can give me that same sort of creative aspect in my life. That feeling of improving at something and applying my own sensibilities to it. And growing at it to the point where it feels like something only I can produce. You know, we'll see how that goes. Fuck. You know, everyone nowadays is creative. But you can't stop yourself from doing things just because other people are doing it. We couldn't do a lot of things if that was the case. You know? Why would you even, like, shit or breathe? Not the best examples. But enough with the press conference. Let's jump into my top 10s, which today I'm going to be covering anime and manga, just sort of as a jumping off point where when I talk about other things further down the line, you guys can come back to this video and see that, oh yeah, he likes this because this is his favorite thing, or he likes that, or doesn't like that because he's into this kind of shit. And yeah, but I'll end the press conference now. We talk about practice. All right. So let's start off with my top 10 favorite manga. At number 10, we have Domestic Girlfriend. You already know. Any good cultured lad should have Domestic Girlfriend in his top 10. It's about some guy who is in love with his teacher, fucks some other girl to get over his teacher, gets home the next day, finds out that his teacher, the girl he fucked to get over his teacher, are now his stepsisters. Just real Shakespeare level shit with some Alabama spice that only Japan has. At number 9, Kaguya-sama Love is War. Complete 180 from the last one. It's just so wholesome. Beautiful love story. Playing mind games to get each other to confess. It's like if Elle and Light were gay for each other. You know, if you don't want to read the gay fan fictions of that, go ahead and read Kaguya-sama Love is War. At number 8, I have Vinland Saga. This is the first of those quote-unquote historically accurate mangas because it follows, what's that motherfucker's name? Thorfinn Karlsson on his journey to discovering the United States, America, somewhat. And yeah, it's just an amazing story. It follows him from a child to an adult, from becoming just an innocent child to like a mass murderer, honestly, to a pacifist. It's an amazing story. At number 7, we have Kingdom. This is the second of those historically accurate mangas, which this is the most like offensive out of those historically accurate ones. It's about the unification of China, and I can't be bothered to remember the fucking emperor's name. Basically, he's just like, one day wakes up and he's like, what if it was all one? You know? And then he just convinces total fucking chads to ride into war and do it for him. Which, if you guys have seen those memes of like fucking average apple enjoyer, and then it's to the right of him, it's like average pear enjoyer, and it's the ultra fucking buff guy with the bikesy jawline. That's every character in Kingdom. Just get into it if you want to see a bunch of those dudes fucking kill each other. At number 6, we have Homunculus, which is a story ultimately about what it means to be human. Gonna cut that burp, hopefully, if I learn how to edit. But yeah, Homunculus. It's a story about learning what it means to be human. And the reason I like this story isn't because it gives an answer or necessarily like nails the landing or execution of that, but just not a lot of stories are going to tackle that. Like, what does it mean to be human? So it's a great psychological thriller kind of story if you want to get into that. At number 5, we have Berserk. Got a physical copy right here. Actually have the first 18 volumes, I think. Yeah, amazing story. It's ultimately a revenge story. The art's insane. Everyone knows Berserk. It's amazing. If you haven't gotten into Berserk, get into it. At number 4, Vagabond. It was close between this and Berserk, but what ultimately puts Vagabond over Berserk is the farming arc. The farming arc in Vagabond is like the most big brain fucking narrative plot point that this story could have had. This is another historically accurate. It follows Miyamoto Musashi, who's like one of the most well-known swordsmen in Japan. And yeah, the farming arc. Just get to that point in Vagabond. I mean, that's basically the end, but get to that point. It's amazing. It's another one of those stories that you follow a character for a long time and see their growth and see them change. At number 3, I can't find any physical copies of this that aren't in French. You know, oui, oui, baguette. But Tokyo Revengers is a sort of delinquent time travel story that follows this character named Takemichi. It's getting an anime soon, but Takemichi is everything Deku wishes he could be. I just know that when the creator of My Hero Academia was writing Deku, he didn't land it at all because Deku's sort of fucking annoying. But Takemichi's what he was going for. It's an amazing manga. It's got sick art. Get into it if you're like into delinquent, crime, time travel kind of stories. At number 2, I have Blue Period. This was my number 1 for a while because Blue Period is one of those stories that captures like the beauty and feeling of really getting into something. For him, it's art, and it's just an amazing story. Like, it's another one of those stories, like almost all of them here, where you see a character grow, but more specifically in this manga, Blue Period, you see a character grow into their craft and something they love to do. And it shows how dark they can get to, not like Whiplash levels of it, but I appreciate that it does that. It's a great story, great art. And at number 1, I have Flowers of Evil. This is my favorite manga of all time. I was hoping I'd be the first to talk about it, but then The Masked Man had to go and do a video on it. Thanks a lot for that. But, you know, he's putting it out there, so I appreciate that. Flowers of Evil is a story about facing your past and mistakes, overcoming shame. I should say, it's a psychological horror story. I think that's all this guy does, Shuzo Oshimi. His other mangas are pretty good too, but this is my favorite. It's about facing your past, mistakes, overcoming shame. It starts super fucked up, but it manages to have a happy ending, which is crazy. And now moving on to my top 10 anime. At number 10, Samurai Champloo. Y'all already know what's up. Samurai Champloo, that soundtrack, that animation, that style. I like it better than Cowboy Bebop. You know, that's just me though. At number 9, Durarara. Amazing story. The way, it's not an amazing story per se, but the way that it's told is amazing. It's told from different perspectives, out of order. It's sort of like a Tarantino movie in that way, but it just has that more like anime style to it. At number 8, I have Fooly Cooly, which, what I love about Fooly Cooly, it's, alright, let me back up a little bit. It's about puberty and space and aliens and a bunch of different things. I don't think anyone could tell you what Fooly Cooly is about, or at least give you the same answer. But what I appreciate about Fooly Cooly is that I can go all English teacher mode on it and be like, yes, this represents this and that. And, oh, executed so well, the red door. But then I can also go like monkey brain on it and be like, oh, boner come out the brain. You know, so. Amazing soundtrack too, by the Pillows on that, on Fooly Cooly. They didn't have to go that fucking hard for that soundtrack, but they did. And I'm fucking grateful they did. At number 7, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. This is a romance anime with supernatural elements kind of thrown in there. You know, you don't expect to go into the story and learn about like theoretical physics and shit, but you do. Anime, what can I tell you? But yeah, it's just a wholesome, like nice romance story with really cool sci-fi elements that come in somehow. It all works. At number 5, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Everyone already knows. It's one of those early 2000s like manga and anime that like everyone got into, and everyone knows how good it is. It's a pretty short, sweet anime with an amazing conclusion. So, you know, get into that. At number 5, I have Death Note. Again, like with Full Metal Alchemist, early 2000s kind of, everyone knows about it. But if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go watch it. The first half of it is amazing. The second opening is better. I'll just say that now. At number 4, I have Konosuba, which is one of the few comedy animes that has actually made me laugh. Like, there are a lot of tropes in it. Like, the characters themselves are sort of tropes. It makes fun of like other animes. But even the tropes that got kind of old for me, or I didn't like in particular, like they snuck up on me and made me laugh. It's generally really fun. And it doesn't have fan service at all. So, you know, you don't have to worry about that. I can't even say that with a straight face. At number 3, I have Hunter x Hunter. It's the greatest shonen anime of all time. Absolutely is. The dynamic between Killua and Gon, so wholesome. Love those two. Stop making gay fan fictions of them, please. Come on, they're like, what, 10? Go to jail, all of you. At number 2, I have Psycho Pass. This one sort of flies under the radar for a lot of people, but the villain in the first season of Psycho Pass, Shogo Makishima, is one of the best villains in all of anime. Like, you have to check out that show. It's got a lot of style. It's sort of set in like a futuristic, dystopian sort of future, but it's a detective crime story. It's a great, great anime. And at number 1, I don't actually have the DVD of it, but I have the manga. I have the first 6 volumes, I think. Attack on Titan is probably the best anime of all time. I feel good about saying that. I do. It has taken no L's. Maybe that 4-year gap between season 1 and 2 was an L, but it only came back strong. The way this story evolves from like a survival horror thriller kind of show to just a fucking commentary on like world history and war and division. I mean, how the fuck did he do that? That's a whole nother video. Attack on Titan, one of the greatest stories of all time. Like, forget about anime. One of the greatest stories of all time. Get into this if you haven't. That was too loud. I'm sorry. But that about does it for me. It's just the first video, kind of get to know me, put myself out there. You know, reply with a video if you want to meet up. You remember that scene in iCarly? I forget which episode it is, but like where Spencer's trying to date online and he just posts a video of him eating cereal for 8 minutes. Just think of this video as that. This is me eating cereal for 8 minutes, putting myself out there for you guys to maybe respond. Be like, hey, what you doing, shawty? No, nothing. You wanna read some anime? Read some anime. We're ending the video there. God damn.